Sounds like a demon.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Lawnchair Youth Podcast. I am your host, Carlisle Jones, with my co-host, Zach McCown. Do you want me to start over?
With my co-host.
With my...
It's back again, episode 3. Episode 3. What are we talking about in this episode?
On this episode, we're going to talk about editing programs, how to shoot videos, and influences.
Yeah, buddy.
So this one's going to be really, really, really packed with
garbage.
Garbage. Garbage day.
No.
It's going to be packed full of very useful tips more than it is going to be with what's going to drive you to be better photography. It's going to in videography. It's going to really tell you the steps that I personally think help me out and makes me super successful, and what me and Zach have done in our years of video editing to get to where we are, and then who's the reason that we are into this stuff.
Right. That's going to kick off my first question for you is what originally influenced you to start shooting music videos? Not necessarily videos because we already have a history of making YouTube stuff, but to really jump into the music video side of it. Was it, I think we talked about it in the first episode a little bit on how really we were tired of paying other people to shoot. Is that when you initially were like, I'm going to do this? And was it like for yourself or for other people, or did it just like snowball into other people wanted stuff from you? Kind of how did that start?
So for me personally, for people that don't know, I actually create music. I've been making music since 2012.
Ooh.
I would say 2012. I was making music. I did do music beforehand, but it was more for how YouTube was at the time, and so since I was young, I've been a huge hip hop fan, like super big. Bought CDs from all underground people. I would listen to like it all the time. So much that I influenced some of my favorite people in the world into it, and got them into some artists and rap that they never thought even existed, or like to a T. And so I brought that to myself very young, and as I got older, I wanted to rap. I was like, I hit an age where I was like, man, I have these thoughts, I have all these lyrics. I'm like, I just kind of want to do it, but I didn't want to rap about. I was like 13 years old, and I didn't want to rap about
The struggle,
smoking weed.
Right.
I didn't do anything. There's all the cliches of rap, but I didn't do any of that. I just want to rap about what my favorite games were and make references to them that I really, really dug. Which there's nothing wrong with that. There's an audience for everything.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. So I would start recording. Oh my God. I'm embarrassed to say it. So I would record me rapping on, so Zach on the last episode has a 10 megapixel camera. It's a point and shoot camera.
I forgot.
If he wants to put a picture up for the people to see what the kind of camera that you have. And I would rap into that camera. And then I remember I was 13, 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that audio from that video and put it over an instrumental on YouTube.
Yep.
And then put the song out on my YouTube. And the sad part is I have like over 100,000 views and like people listening to my songs because I would remix famous songs when they just came out.
Yeah.
And it made me get to the point where then we did the Shades video, where I did like my first that was my first rap video, rap video.
Right.
But before then we did the Wiz Khalifa remix, where I rapped about the games coming out for the summer.
Okay.
Where we just walked down my block and it was super hot, middle of the day, 12 o'clock, where you shouldn't shoot
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah,
White balance, nothing like that.
We didn't. There wasn't even that option.
We know how to turn it on and press the record button.
Hey, that's better than some people, I guess. Our parents. But yeah, so that's the kind of thing. Is like I've wanted to do it because like I waited for a point to where I thought I was good enough to rap, to then get to the point where I thought I was good enough to get a video done for what I wanted to do. So since I was like 13, 14, I'm 26 now, but since I was like 13, 14, I wanted to rap and I wanted videos done. But obviously I didn't have money, so I just used what I had.
Right.
That's pretty much what influenced me to do it. It's just because I had a love for hip hop and I wanted to rap, and what was better for the era of YouTube starting than to put my videos on YouTube and get flamed by the internet.
Right.
Like, dude, man, it was so bad. I'm still embarrassed about that. Just how I recorded them.
Right.
The Lemonade remix by Gucci Mane, where I talk about Modern Warfare 2. My friends still give me lip about that every once in a while.
That's on a hard drive somewhere.
It's not. It's gone. It's completely gone. YouTube might have it.
I'm saying no. Somebody downloaded that and has it on a hard drive somewhere. So you started out, and then we were paying. You were paying people to shoot some of your music videos, and between you and I, we were able to like, okay, no, we can do this. Seeing what we were paying for and getting in return, we were like, let's just save our money and do it ourselves and teach ourselves how to do it. And we started editing on, what software were we using at the time? Was it Final Cut?
No. Well, I started with Movie Maker.
Movie Maker. The first music videos, not YouTube stuff.
The first, you were using iMovie. I don't think you had Final Cut yet.
Probably not.
Yeah, you had iMovie on your old black MacBook.
So we started doing it, but what? So we're shooting it ourselves. What would you say were some influences at the time of kind of mimicking how like other music videos were shot? Where you were like, I'm shooting this music video and I want it to look like this.
It would definitely been that Mac Miller era when he did like Kids and Best Day Ever, and it was like, hey, perfect time for a white guy to get into a rap game and make very like kind of like semi-positive music that's not like overly cliche other than about smoking weed, but I didn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like the vibe back then to do it. But because Tree J, also R.I.P. Mac Miller, but Tree J, who was shooting all of Mac Miller's videos, he got even better as time goes on. So I was super influenced by how he was doing their videos, all the production they went into doing theirs, all the way up to I think he did everything up to Faces, all the videos for it. And then as I was younger, I was a huge Kanye West fan, and the people that did the best videos when I was younger were Director X and Hype Williams. And I still I cherish them more than I cherish almost any videographer to this day, just because they're my biggest influence. They literally made me love video making for music videos.
Yeah.
And then if we get into like cinematography and like people that like shoot film, not videos,
right,
that's a whole different ball game.
But it kind of fits here because this is still the time we're only shooting for you. We're not shooting for anybody else.
Yeah. And
there was a shift when it turned from a Mac Miller style video to
GOD, which is a song by me. It stands for grieving over death. That's what God stands for. And that was with my friend Jonathan Wedlin. Shout out to him. We shot that and I edited the entire video within an hour and a half, just because we shot that video step by step. And to this day, there's still some flaws in that video for sure. Yeah, but because he didn't know, he was a photographer. He didn't really video.
Yeah, but the shifts to cinematic like that. What were some like movies that influenced you, where you're like, wow, like B-roll stands out more than the like a shot itself?
So I think we did that around the time of The Revenant came out. there's a lot of Leonardo and then James Cameron movies that I really really like that have a lot of dark twisted stuff. But I'm also a horror movie fan. Me and Sarah watch horror movies all the time, and that movie, I mean, that video is more like a horror movie in a sense because it's like the Reaper is waiting for its time to get me, and there's just a lot of like slow shots in that video. It's like one of the first times I think I ever did any slow mo.
Yeah,
I don't think I did any slow mo at all until that God video, and I don't know. It's still to this day like some of the shots, that mirror shot, that doorknob. That doorknob is my favorite. The doorknob B roll in that video. There's literally a single standing shot, and that's when I was doing B roll where my camera was just on a tripod. It would shoot. I would stop it, and then I would go to the next thing. Like I wouldn't even. B roll wasn't me moving. It was literally standstill B roll. Right. And B Not actually told me when he came down here to Alabama. From New York, he goes, dude, I miss when you used to do this standalone B roll. He goes, you're the only person that I've ever seen do that. I don't do it at all anymore because it doesn't sometimes fit. I feel like I need very cinematic areas to make that really fit.
Yeah,
and that's and this can be I'm gonna say my influence. This is more leaning to the shooting videos portion right now. So we can that first number one tip for shooting videos. Shoot B-roll. Yeah. If you don't know what B-roll is, here's what B-roll is. Yeah. So for example, Zach's in front of me and he's rapping at the camera. Okay, and I'm shooting him with the camera and he's rapping the camera the whole time. That's your main roll. Yeah. So that we call that A roll, but maybe people will just call it main roll. Yeah. And then there's those, you ever seen a movie or you seen a show or seen a video where the guy's rapping and then you see someone pour something in a cup, or you see people hanging out, or you see a close-up of a girl with her face, or
throwing money,
something like that. That's a B-roll shot because it's not main roll, but it's there to fill and build the environment. Right. And I think that's what's lacking in a couple of people nowadays. If you go look at hype videos, like rap is super aggressive, but it's so aggressive that they don't even do B-roll shots as much as they should. They don't build stories. They don't focus on cinematics. They're just trying to like show aggression. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's what if the song is like super bass heavy and it's ignorant,
then you don't need this static B-roll shot because it doesn't fit.
But when you have a person that's trying to be an artist and a creative and trying to have something that stands out, you want to shoot them in a cinematic view. And
which is what people want a music video for, to show off this thing they've worked so hard on. Yeah, it's a hard industry to kind of get into, but man, once you establish yourself in your community, it's wild. Like I didn't do it overnight. I did 38 videos. I did 38 videos last year, and this year I've already done 43. Yeah, and we're 6 months into the year.
Yeah, my goal is to hit 100 by the end of the year.
So jumping back, so learning, shooting for ourselves, we've learned what we like, which is B-roll and cinematic. What is the first music video that you shot for someone else?
Was it
K1?
No, it was actually ibuprofen.
Okay.
Now, I posted on my Instagram the other day, I actually forgot about this. In 2015, I shot a video for ibuprofen for his song Orbit. We shot it right by a Saturn in an alley. The song was a minute long. Mm-hmm. I'll show you after the podcast. It is super bad. Like, so Ivan, if you hear this, you know it's bad, so don't flame me. Yeah. But like the video is super bad. It's super beginner, and he was just glad I did it for free for him. Yeah. There's no effects in it. It's just raw cuts. Because I didn't know what I was doing yet. Like, I didn't master a camera. Right. But that's the first one that I remember doing super well. And then my next video that I did was for Jason. And Jason, we did Richer and Lonelier, which is still on my YouTube channel if you want to go look at that. We did Richer and Lonelier, and Richer and Lonelier it was like when I was like, I slowly started getting better. Like I noticed I was getting better. Other than my own music videos, like I stopped doing my own videos to focus on other people's. And man, there's that one video where Cole's in the back and he's rapping with his glasses in front of the fence. And that scene still looks incredible. Like I'm surprised that T5i that you had. I shot that video with a T5i, and that video still looks incredible to this day.
Yeah.
And then,
so you had like you kind of got your trial run shooting and editing your own videos to implement that into other people's videos, and they were like not like what they've seen before when it comes to a rap video.
Yeah.
Because yours weren't like in your face, like all these effects. I know Jason's especially, he has a lot of cinematic stuff.
Yeah.
In his. Of course, it fits the song, but.
I mean, his second video had effects in it, but like, you know, even that video, like I'm not good at effects yet. I'm just kind of like using what's built into my program.
Mm-hmm. So as spawning off the first question, which was like influence you to start shooting. Now that you're shooting other people's videos at this time, is there anyone that you're watching other than like the Mac Miller type videos where you're like, I really like this style that I want to implement in other people's videos?
This was still before Cole Bennett blew up, because Juice WRLD wasn't a person, Lil Pump wasn't a person. Well, they were a person, but they weren't like,
right?
You know,
right?
They weren't like
Baby Pump.
They weren't Baby Pump. Baby Pump.
That was stupid.
He still can't read, but
he is a baby pump.
Anyway, I wasn't super big into watching people do gear and stuff yet, so I wasn't into like. I was just doing videos for $75.
Right. You had a camera, you had a lens, and you knew how to edit. And now you're just looking for artists who want something.
Yeah. So if I was looking at videos, I still watch YouTube videos all the time. And I still watch, but there wasn't any directors that were super big at that time that were doing like DIY stuff that like I paid attention to. Like when I shot the Richer and Lonelier video for Jason, like, there was no videographers in Birmingham at all. Like, I was literally, like, one of the only ones, but no one...
Shooting rap.
Shooting rap. Like, there really was no one.
Right.
I can't remember any music videos coming out at all. And I can ask all my friends. I think all I had was Us and Be Not. Those are the only videos I can remember. But, yeah, like, I don't think I had any really influences. I had more influences... I got more influences this year than I did... 25 years.
Mm-hmm. So let's fast forward then. You shoot Jason's music video, then
I do K1's video,
and then
I do a Youngblood video for that Cypher.
Yeah, I remember the Cypher. And this whole time you're finding new tips and tricks, you're finding faster ways to edit, you're finding different, up until, because I know what I'm getting at is I know Cole Bennett is like a huge influence and inspiration now.
Yeah.
So when did that come into effect?
I think Cole Bennett became super influential when he did it. Like he already got big. Like I saw the D Rose video and I laughed at it just because. It's a Lil Pump song. It's like super fun and there's not a lot of thought into it. 100 on my wrist, 80 on my wrist. Like it's not, super lyrical or anything like that. But visually, it was very simple. It's him in like a hotel room and him standing on a car. But there's very like heavy effects on drawing on his hair and doing stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's actually like super cool. I might not like the song that much, but like, so I keep watching every single one of his videos. And then he did the little Xan video, got super popular. And then he did the Juice WRLD video that like super, super blew up. And then, he just does a lot of these like young artists that got super big and they're popular now in the eyes. And then I liked it more that he was just a guy sitting there with his $2,000 camera, but he he focused on making his craft completely different from the people around him. He was making his videos look different.
Right. Which leads into editing. At what point were you always editing on Final Cut Pro?
Yes. Yeah. That Movie Maker I began, but once I bought a Mac,
right,
it was I bought Final Cut.
So once you start seeing all these different effects that Cole Bennett has, because a lot of the majority of his time is dedicated to the edit, not the shooting. Is that when you started dedicating more time to learning different edits and stuff? Oh, I like this. I want to know how did you do that?
I feel like that question is kind of loaded because like I still do that every day. I watch 25 videos average a day, music videos.
And you just pull influences from all of those.
Yeah, like I see stuff and I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Or I see a cinematic shot and that's really cool. Cole Bennett, I would still not be able to do some of his effects because he uses like After Effects and I'm not spending the amount of time to learn After Effects.
It takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time
to do
but
that.
I mean, when you're getting paid like $5 to $25,000 to shoot a music video for someone,
right,
it's a completely different process. But,
right. But I would think because business-wise, you don't want to undersell yourself to an artist or to a project that you're working on. But I would almost say that it's worth overworking yourself in the beginning to establish yourself.
Yeah.
To show and prove that you can do this and that you are worth however much that you plan on asking for yourself.
Yeah.
I
think finding your price for artists and videos and commercials and weddings depends on what you have, how you edit, and then what the overall product looks like from your other stuff. And I mean, editing is 100% I would say the worst part of everything, because everything can look amazing when you're shooting it on the camera, and nothing beats like you working for an hour and getting paid a lot of money, and then you get home and you're like, oh yeah, I have to edit all that now, which is going to take full day of work, 4 to 8 hours depending on it. And I do videos that are 2 minutes long that sometimes take me 6 hours to do, just because like I want to take that extra step and make that extra effect that like someone's gonna see. They're gonna be like, oh my god, that's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Right. Because there's more than just dumping the footage, syncing it to a song and uploading it.
The only time I'll ever cut a video, the only time I'll ever just like shoot it and then cut it and then cut and there's no effects or anything like that, is if like the customer one doesn't pay me the rate I'm asking, or they want like maybe a budget or something, or two, they have a song that doesn't require that.
Right.
And C Money does that too. Like I did a video for C Money with Flair, and it's called Count It Up, and literally I don't do any effects in the whole video. It's just because it just doesn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not that kind of song.
Yeah.
It's an R&B song.
But we talked about it in the last episode about building a starter pack. And I had mentioned editing software. If this is something that you are wanting to get into and working with artists and kind of set yourself apart and stand out in the crowd, you're going to need good editing software. Whether
100%.
Whether it's Final Cut or Premiere or any other software, and they're all behind a paywall.
Final Cut's $300. Yeah. But it's worth it. You get all the updates
so
for
essential, to have.
That's one video.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at it that way, that's one video that pays for
itself. Yeah, like, hey, every video I do, I'm slowly making back the initial payment to be able to do this stuff.
And what's cool, what I've noticed, is you've dedicated all this time to not only shooting, but then editing and then uploading and really branding yourself. But even from an editor standpoint, because I mostly edit videos, it's incredible the amount of people that come to you and they're like, hey, somebody else has shot my music video, I just want to pay you to edit it. So even if you want to invest, it's worth investing in an editing software and dedicating the time to get good at it, because other people will come to you to edit their stuff.
And this vice versa. I've also had people want me to shoot their video and then take the footage to be edited by someone else.
Right.
And that's, sign me up for that anytime. That's super easy. I get paid to go to the video, shoot it, and because people like how I shoot and they like the quality. And then they give it to someone else to do all the long work.
So let's talk about shooting music videos. You want to lump that in with this? It's not necessarily just editing. You can save a lot and create a lot in post-production. I would say editing is super essential. But the initial shooting, what does your artist want? And I think one of the coolest things that Tim has tapped into was when he purchased a green screen. Yeah. I think that comes in handy. It is mobile. You can roll it up with all your lights and take it to any video shoot and shoot on it. And it's so versatile. You can, once you get back post-production. But say like somebody wants more cinematic, or they actually want like a story, or they have like a location they want to be at. For instance, GBF's video where you're like a cop in the video. Yeah. Talk about that, like, what went into that video shoot, like the production part of it.
So he's talking about GBF King. He does a DaBaby remix to his song Next Song, which DaBaby actually has a music video for that song where a cop actually pulls him over, and the cop comes to him, knocks on the window, and smoke comes down. So we pretty much just did like the same thing, but we took it to a different level in it. Like, we did, like, a full chase scene. So, like, I get out of my car, and that video has to be super cinematic in the sense of, like, the angles are so important in that video. So, like, for example, if you go watch the video, you probably don't... It's kind of a comedy. It's more of a comedy video than anything. Mm-hmm. But, like, when I was editing and shooting that video, I made it super easy to do. They're like, hey, we're going to do 2 rap scenes inside the house, and then I'm going to cut those randomly throughout the video. Right. But the thing that took the longest was setting up the camera for me to get out of the car, but you also see King, and then watch me walk up to it, me knocking on the window from behind, then me putting the camera inside the car to look up at King, knock on the window, and then also say the same thing at the same time, and then cut them together to make it look good, and then also put the camera on top of the car to get the over the door shot, then getting his friend to carry the camera behind us while we run. I mean, there's like...
Right. It's a pretty elaborate shoot.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not just something you can just do on the fly. Like, it has to be well planned.
Now, is this something that you had planned?
I wrote it all down in my notes.
Okay, so yeah, I would say production-wise, that's super. Have a planned out, not scheduled, but planned out shots. Yeah. Planned shots and stick to it, especially if you want to get in and out on time.
This new Ken Radian video that's about to release, the one where he's like a ghost and there's blood on him and everything.
The sneezing, wheezing ghost?
Yes. Shut up. So, Ken
is that? Did you leave that in the video where she sneezes?
I have it still, but I did not. Dang it. Not leaving it in there.
Yeah, that'd be Easter egg, man. That's so good. It's so good.
But anyway, the new Ken Radian video coming out soon. It's super cinematic. Like I wrote down all the stuff that I wanted to do. I bought the props for it. Returned the props when I was done with them. But I bought the props. Just went all out, and because it's all about getting the image across more than it's about, let's go shoot a video. Like, going to shoot a video is really cool, and it's super easy to do, and I can do it from almost any artist. Mm-hmm. But, like, sometimes, man, like, for example, Ken Radian, he doesn't make normal songs. He doesn't. He makes super aggressive, auto-tune, trippy red stuff, so I have to fit the vibe for the video. Yeah. And so that's a tip for music videos. So number 1, listen to the song that your artist gives you, and then prepare a detailed outline of how you visually can see stuff going before getting there.
Right.
And number 2 of that would be talk to the person about it too, because you don't want to plan all this stuff and they're like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Right. And you also want to know your limits.
Yes.
You don't want the artist to expect this huge production, and then once they see it, they're not happy with it. You know, you gotta know your own limitations on what you can and can't do. Like, yes, I know I can get this shot, and I know I can make it look this way in post production.
Yeah. So make sure they understand what they're getting into before you do it. But like buying props and stuff like that, sometimes you can't buy props. Sometimes I take hits on videos because money's not a big thing to me personally. Like, money is just what helps me. It helps pay for the production. And so like sometimes I'll go out of my own pocket to buy props because I want the visual to look. I'm more focused on the visual than I am on the actual like making money from it.
Right.
And so that's going to be my second tip is know your worth and don't expect every video to be worth the same.
Because especially if you're wanting to do big shoots like this, different shoots call for different stuff.
Yeah. So do I charge every artist the same amount of money? No. Do I have different formats and different ways to get a video done and still be profitable from it? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I tell everyone? I do tell everyone my prices for the videos, the exact same. But depending on what they want and what they're trying to do depends on the price.
Right.
And then also relationships do sometimes get in there here and there where like, you know, I've been friends with you, you spend a lot of money with me, yada yada. But like the big thing for me is, hey, we're doing this video and I'm spending my time and you're spending your time. You know, we need to both make it worth it for both of us.
Right.
So shooting videos, 1, you should know the artist and talk to them, hear the song, find the way of the vision. 2, you need to come to a conclusion on what you would charge to do the video and what is reasonable enough for you and then willing enough for them.
Yeah, because you see a lot of people, especially aspiring videographers and editors, they kind of block themselves in with these different tiers or different packages that they offer. And then an artist wants this certain package, and then you end up, they want a little bit more, they want a little bit less, and then you're kind of stretching your time, and you kind of feel stuck within, well, the artist only paid this much, you know, versus like, okay, what do you want? And then giving them a price that way. And it also helps with people from just seeing like sticker shock on your website and not talking to you at all. Yeah. I think the consultation is very important when talking to an artist, more than just, well, how much is my music video? Talk with them, well, what do you want? What do you expect? And versus, depending on what you've seen that I've already shot for previous clients, what do you and don't you like from that stuff that we can implement for you now?
Yeah, I do an example a lot when I compare like cameras, music videos, and stuff like that. So, for example, you go to McDonald's and you buy a $1 burger, okay, and then you buy a Big Mac. Like, one is 5 times more money, but the quality and the enjoyment you get out of it's completely different.
I guess, but it's still McDonald's. I don't think that's
okay. It is. It works. Okay?
I don't think that's a great example.
It is, but it works for cameras. You buy a cheap camera, you buy a more expensive. It's kind of like you get extra bread.
You want a
extra
$1
topping.
burger from McDonald's, or you want a $16 burger from Red Robin?
Maybe not that example. That's not a good one. But anyway, that's just a way of looking at it. Like, if you want quality, performance, enjoyment, experience, if you want to have like something that you're super proud of, I mean, put money towards it. Like, I like sometimes you never know what's going to happen. I've done free videos that I never thought would have ever been anything for me, and boom, they're some of the most like I would say I don't like to talk about free videos at all, but like one of my proudest free videos I've ever done was Too Long for GBF King, because we did a video for him, and then then they never hit me back up to do another video, so I hit him up to do a video for him because I wanted to work with him again.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Yeah, sure, come over." Shot on Wednesday, gave it to him on Thursday, knocked the video out, and then.
How many videos have y'all shot together now?
Yeah, exactly. Like I became like family after that. So I mean,
reach out.
You reach out to. That would be another thing for music videos. Like, so reach out to people you want to work with, because if you want to work with someone, then you're willing to take a cut to be able to do it. Like I've done, like, to be doing stuff for free. You got to look at free in a different light. Like, oh, I'm doing this for free. No, you're not doing it for free. Your time means something. You're doing this for what could potentially happen for you. Exposure, subscribers, views. Like, these are the things that you have to build yourself up. And sometimes we talk about all the time about people buying views and buying subscribers and buying stuff like that. Does that help you?
No.
Never does.
Nope.
Yeah, how many famous people buy subscribers and views? 0, because they don't have to do it. Yeah. So just kind of like get in line. Sorry, get in line with trying to help yourself before you start helping the artist, because sometimes making the biggest leap for your career is putting yourself in a position versus putting them in a position.
Right.
Because, you just never know, man. These young kids are super talented nowadays.
Yeah, you just never know who's going to pop off. And I think, too, it's like, what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to promote yourself and just shoot and edit a video and send it back to the artist and then be done with it? Or are you trying to grow a brand like Lyrical Lemonade, or like, dare I put us in the same list, LCY, where not only do we shoot and edit, but we also distribute and promote and brand ourselves. All these artists that we work with, it's not, okay, I shot and edited your music video, now do with it as you please. It's, you come to us and you get everything. But that might not be what you want to do. Maybe you just want to shoot it and edit it and then send it off and be done with it. So kind of our perspective on it, may be a little different than what everybody else wants to do. But I think for growing a company, especially a production company like ourselves and everything that we're involved with so far, I think these keys are very essential to growing a successful brand like we've done.
Like, I feel since I started doing this, like, I have, like, some of these people, I feel like some of them would kill for me. Like, they would literally if anything was to happen to me, or they know who something would happen to me, they would all be in a state of, despair.
Right.
They would, because I've spent my time trying to, like, help them out, and, $300, $500, it's not a lot of money in retrospect to, like, spending more time and developing your future and my future. I think you still have to separate yourself from the artist, because at the end of the day, it is still a business.
Right.
But how many successful businesses don't have any friendships or partnerships?
True. Yeah, that's true.
So, you're the business, and then the customers that get videos from you are then your partners, your allies, your ventures. And that's how I think you should look at it, versus like, yeah, that's some guy I did a video for once. Like, it's not like that at all. Unless, like, hey, that was a business partner I had at one time.
Unless that's what you're going for.
Yes.
Unless all you're looking for is to just pump out videos and send it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I hopefully...
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
I just don't know if that's like the proper way for you to...
Right.
Yeah, like a visual of yourself.
Right.
I mean, imagine if Cole Bennett did that. Director X, Hype Williams, I mean, none of them would have been as successful if they would have just did one Kanye video and that was it. They never shot the Hotline Bling video, stuff like that. You just never know.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Cole Bennett, for example. We're going to bring him up a lot because he's just like the new age Hype Williams and Director X. Mm-hmm. And he shot 138 videos before he had his first video pop off.
Yeah, he did. He has a very interesting TED Talk that came out not too long ago. We'll link it in the description with everything else we normally link. But if you're an aspiring videographer or you want to get into production and you really want to see, you want a deeper look into what goes into all the hard work that goes into all these, him especially being so successful, I would definitely recommend watching that. It's short. It's less than under
16
an hour.
minutes.
16 minutes.
Yeah. TED Talks are always short.
Okay, yeah.
So definitely just, on the toilet or something.
Pitch one off. Yeah.
Next tip for videos. This is going to be more. So we've developed the price. We developed the relationship. We've gotten you the gear that you're ready for. We've got you literally all the way up to now shooting the video. So it's hard. This is more of listening, but visual is obviously going to be better. I guess whenever I do the video, I will actually add it to the bio. But shooting videos is super, super, super difficult for your first couple videos because you have to learn what looks good and what looks bad and how to move. So, for example, we were talking about, hey, I want a stabilizer. Well, you can't afford a stabilizer yet, so you have to use your hand. Mm-hmm. And then you work your way up to a stabilizer if that's what you want. So you have to use your hand. So there's obviously going to be some natural shake. You're gonna have to try to figure out, how to do your arms, how to get angles, how to do yada yada. So my first tip for shooting music videos is to use your body and not your hands and arms. And
right.
And what that means, Zach is actually the person that taught me this. Because Zach's the one that used to shoot my music videos for me, and then I would edit them. But Zach has a very, very steady hand when it comes to shooting videos. But he keeps his hands and his arms on the camera at all times, but he only moves his shoulders and his chest and back because you're moving your arms is going to be too loose and it's going to shake the camera. But moving your body and your legs just completely give you the stabilization and gimbal-like stuff that you're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like
that would be the first tip. I would do that. Second tip would be learning the camera settings. That's literally it. We talked a little bit about it on the last episode.
That should be the first tip. That's the first thing you should do is just because of all the music videos.
Flip it in post.
all the music videos that we shot, not knowing anything about settings, and they all turned out okay. Mm-hmm. Color correction and post-production can only help you so much, but if you know your f-stop, if you know your aperture, if you know your frame rate, and you know your ISO, then you're gold.
Yeah.
You're gold. You're like already 10 steps ahead of anybody else just starting out. It's just like, oh yeah, point and shoot. I could shoot a music video.
Yeah. I would say, so if I do this at work a lot. So when people ask me how to shoot cameras or do editings or anything like that, I send them, if you go onto YouTube and you type in camera basics, first video should be Peter McKinnon, which is one of my videographer idols when it comes to who he shoots with. He also has a Canon 1DX Mark II. And so
I feel like he was a big drive into that purchase.
He definitely was, because he pushed, and he was just like, I saw his footage and what it looked like and what it could do, and I was like, yep, that's what I want. So I think I'm gonna.
He vlogs with that thing, man.
Yeah,
he walks around in public with that thing on a dang Gorilla Pod.
Oh,
you know how heavy that thing is?
He does that, and he does the EOS R, which is the mirrorless one.
Okay.
He does the mirrorless one more than he does that for vlogging.
It's just so big. It's so big.
So he vlogs with, I think, the EOS R.
Okay.
But anyway, Peter McKinnon, if you go and type in camera basics on YouTube, we'll have a link below also. But Peter McKinnon's, I watched that video last year. And think about that, I've been doing videos for a while. I watched that video last year, and I learned more about cameras than I ever did by watching that.
Mm-hmm.
So, not saying that my videos prior to that video were bad, but man, I grew. Like, from that one video, I grew. And he has Camera Basics 2. I mean, these videographers on YouTube that literally just telling everyone about what they're doing and then how to do it really they help drive you as a creative person, and then the ways to be successful like them.
Right.
Creative Ryan, who is in Atlanta and comes here every once in a while, he's super big in trying to do the same thing. He's doing tips. He's doing huge ATL artists, but like, they're not doing anything that I'm not doing. They're literally doing. I'm not mimicking, but we're all in the same boat in what we're trying to do. We want to have the coolest angles. We want to have the coolest shots. We want to look super good and crisp. We want it cinematic. When we put effects in, we want them to be effects. We don't want them to be
layers.
Layers, right, yeah, right. Perfect
like a
word.
Filter.
Yeah,
a filter. Yeah,
because that's not what we want. And we will buy gear. And we will spend extra money to make sure that we actually get what we want to. So, for example, learn your camera, learn how to hold your camera and maneuver with it. And then the third tip I would give you... Hold up.
Let me look at my handy dandy
notepad. No. I actually sent this to a person the other day. He was shooting his first music video and he asked me for some tips.
I feel like you get a lot of DMs of people just asking, what's like the most common question that people DM you about? Because I know people hit the gram all the time of just like wanting your opinion on their shoot. Like, hey, this is my music video. What do you think?
I hate getting that too. I hate that question. I hate when people ask me, they want me to get my opinion on videos, because like asking someone, I feel like when you're asking another videographer what they think on a video, it means that you don't think your video is good enough.
Yeah, you got to be confident in your work. You can't try to like mimic someone else's work and then hand it to them and say, well, what do you think? Yeah. Well, it looks like my video. That's what I think. Where's your own personal spin on it?
Yeah, so like me personally, I don't stop working on videos till I'm 100% satisfied with it. And when I send it to an artist, they want me to add an effect, that's fine. That doesn't break me being 100% fine with it. Mm-hmm. It's just, if I'm already 4 hours in, I'll spend another hour to make it look right. I mean, that's not... I mean, these are going to be the videos that are there then for years to go on. So, like, you know, no one wants to watch a video and then in 10 days it's like, oh, I did that thing 10 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, so I found the thing in my camera. I found the thing in my DM. So I was talking to my friend Lowkey Polly, who is his name is at @lowkey_Polly on Instagram, and he's a beginning videographer, and he asks me questions all the time. He's from New York, and so he's about to shoot his first video and everything like that. And he asked me for any advice, and my advice was use your body, not your hands. Sarah is calling me. Hey.
Do you want anything from Starbucks?
What are you getting?
I'm getting a cookie crumble.
Ooh. Can you get me one of those too?
Yeah, I can.
You're the one who called me to ask me. We're filming, we're recording the Lawnchair Youth podcast right now.
Okay.
Okay. So back to what we're talking about.
So you DM'd him. Use your body, not your hands.
Use your body, not your hands. And this one is super this is super big for me personally. Shoot slow and smooth and occasionally rotate camera. So what that means is if you were doing handheld, this is going to be benefit more for handheld. I'm a handheld shooter. I don't use gimbals and I don't use stabilizers. So shoot slow. So for example, you're coming up to your shot. You don't want to like run at them and go back and forth using like you're using your body, but you're like using your body like too much. You need to like take it slow, baby. You need to take it slow. Like you need to move back and forth super smooth because you want that stabilizer gimbal like footage, but you're budgeting. So use that smooth, but the thing that a gimbal and a stabilizer can't usually do is what, Zach? Rotate. They can't rotate. So that will set you apart from a lot of people using those stabilizers. All their stuff is super flat, going in and out super quick, and it's super smooth, yeah. But what if you want to like turn your video? If you're not shooting in 4K and you can expand your video and stay crisp.
You can't zoom in to do it in post.
Yeah, so my big thing would be you can just slowly rotate the camera, man. That helps so much.
I would say use your angles. I would say think outside of the box when it comes to camera angles. Not everything has to be straight on, like in your face. I think that has a lot to do with B-roll as well. Like just as important as B-roll is to your shot, get creative with the angles that you use to capture that B-roll or to capture your artist from maybe not looking straight on at the camera. Maybe they're one cool thing that you used to do is you would shoot music videos as if you had two cameras on somebody. I think you did a cypher once where the camera was on the ground and all the artists were standing in a circle, and then whoever was on was like in the middle of the circle looking down at the camera. Yeah. And you shot it that way. And then you did a side angle with the same camera because you only had one camera, but you told the artist to stay in the circle and look down like at the light or something, or at the speaker or something, and act as if they're wrapping it into that camera so that you can get the side shot. So in editing, it looks like you have two camera guys, but
it builds more. So like, for example, you don't have to find all this extra footage to cut in.
Right.
You can literally make it look like, the same shot continues. And I did that with a new video I'm about to do for RG Johnny and RG Tim. Like both of them, like I do that. Like I shoot them in botanical gardens in front of all this beautiful pond and trees and stuff like that. And then I did a separate footage of them rapping sideways because I'm not going to use it a lot. But when I do use it, it's going to complement them shooting forward.
Yeah. I would say this is one thing we haven't touched on, but I think it kind of fits here. You need to have your own bag of tricks. And one of these being locations. You need to have cool locations that look good on film that you can take your artist to. Because some artists will have an idea of videos that they want to shoot, but that may be in their head. It's like, yeah, just come shoot me in my garage or like in my bedroom or something.
Done those.
And for some videos that may work. But for others to step outside of the box and really give them a good music video that doesn't look like you're just shooting it, like it may be low budget, but it does not have to look low budget. And I was always like closed-minded here in Birmingham of like, well, we don't really have a lot here to work with. But that's so untrue that I've come to find out shooting music videos of all of these different spots that we've added to our portfolio that we can take artists to and shoot there, even though the artists had no idea, like they don't know that's what they want. You being the person shooting the music video, you know how it's going to look when you take the artist there to like shoot there. Like, because some artists don't know what they want. They want you to do everything. But having locations in your book that you can pull from and be like, okay, we're going to shoot here, here, and here. And that's going to be your music video.
And don't be afraid to shoot at the same locations either. Because if you're a good videographer, You can make any location.
That's where angles come into play.
Yeah.
Use
So,
your angles.
like, sometimes I'll be shooting a music video for someone, and I don't feel like driving all around Birmingham looking for some random alley or something to do. Like, for example, we shot the Botanical Gardens the other day, and in front of the garden is the lake, and then to the right of it is a glass ottoman where the sun doesn't beam down, like where you would do a wedding or something.
No.
And then to the right is a big staircase at the very top of it. So literally in one area, I shot 3 different places that look like completely different places, and you wouldn't think that they're the same place.
Right.
But they were literally 1, 2, 3 in a triangle right there, 20 feet apart.
Right.
And I make it look like it's just this larger than life thing. So that's another thing is I would say on locations, when you get a location, you need to look at the places around the location, because you could finish a whole video in one location if you're getting paid for one location. Because man, some of my best videos I did, you would never have thought that I did it all in the same area.
No.
So I would say that would be another trick to shooting videos is location, like it's real estate. Like that's going to be a huge thing. The next thing is going to go back into shooting with the camera is shooting lower than your chest level to make your artist look bigger.
Right.
So if you've for all the male listeners, you ever been asked to take a photo of your girlfriend before? Perfect example. You have to shoot the right angle to make her look right. Same with rappers, same with artists, same with anything you're doing. Shooting at the right angle will literally make your artist look way bigger than life. Like they shooting lower below your chest makes them have like a bigger body, and then it makes everything around you look so much more smaller than them. It's weird how it works, but that's like a big thing. If you've ever shot a video straight on, it usually never looks good. Nothing ever looks really good straight on unless you add effects or zoom ins and stuff like that.
Right.
Or it's just like super close ups. So my big thing would be shoot lower than your chest, and that goes for when you're moving around trying to get shots, and that also goes with just trying to make your subject look way bigger. I think this might be my last like camera tip, really, before I actually make like a video to really demonstrate, is to take the camera that you're shooting on, and you can do 2 ways. You can tape, or you can just visualize. Tape the top and bottom of your screen, just some gaff tape or something super not sticky, and make your cinematic bars on your camera, or you can just kind of visualize it. So when you do cinematic footage, you usually crop it out. You crop the top and the bottom to give it those like widescreen bars.
Right.
And if you can visually see that on your camera screen, you will always keep your subject one in center. You will automatically already know what it's going to kind of look like, and you'll be able to shoot scenes way better now, knowing what it's going to look like when you put the bars on versus like,
right.
Oh man, I cropped out the top of his head or his hair, or I cropped out, the collarbones or something like, and something so simple can like be ruined by when you put those bars in, and then you have to raise them up, and then So that would be my last big camera tip.
I think camera and lens permitting, shoot a little bit wider than you intend the final video to look, because you can always zoom in and crop stuff out. You can't always get that back.
Yeah.
So if your camera shoots at high enough quality and your lens allows it, shoot a little bit wider and then just fix it in post. You can hide so much in post-production that nobody will ever notice.
I agree. So it's something you have to kind of learn for sure. Especially, I feel like you learn it more in the post process when you're trying to edit it. But if you can make your editing easier by doing stuff in the pre-production.
Right. It makes your life a whole lot easier.
Man,
in post.
it changes. It'll save you time, money, everything. It's literally probably one of the best tips you can actually get for anything from that.
Yeah.
Now, if any of y'all have any other questions, whether it goes editing, gear, you're looking for any more tips, situations you have, feel free to comment below. This has been the 3rd episode of the Lawnchair Youth Podcast. I've been your host, Carlisle Jones. You can find me on Instagram at Carlisle Jones AL, and you can find all videos at Lawnchair Youth, or you can type in Carlisle Jones on YouTube. On our next episode of the Lawnchair Podcast, we are going to be talking about financing and branding, really pushing you to the next level when it comes to getting more clients, getting you more money in your pocket, and just overall making you feel like you are a business and not just something you're doing for fun anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's going to be a good one.